Liam. Welcome to the Buck Stops here, the official audio show of NotInHallOfFame.com, and I'm your host, Kirk Buchner, the Buck, the owner of NotInHallOfFame.com and the sister sites, the Fictitious Athlete Hall of Fame and the Fictitious Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's Season 1, Episode 51. Is it our season finale? It might be, might not be. We've got some big plans for Season 2, which you'll see. And this turned out to be a loaded show because we took a bit of a hiatus due to Christmas time. We've certainly had a bit of family things not with each other. Evan did his thing, I did mine. He's in Chicago, I'm in Barbados. I never met the guy. He's never met me. So no, our families did not coexist. Maybe one day they will. All good. But it turned out to be a loaded show nevertheless. We always sort of like talk about Hall of Famers who passed away. And there was a lot over the last 2 weeks. Casey Jones, former great Boston Celtic, Kevin Greene, Danny Hodge, and so much more. We had so much to go into with that, but we didn't want to make it all about that. We had the announcement of the Fictitious Athlete Hall and the Fictitious Rock Hall. Big classes. It's what we do at the end of every year. Who got in? Who did you vote for? I have one vote. That's it. Just one. Evan has one vote. Just one. So it's not about what we want, it's about what all of you want. And some of you wanted a lot that I like. And a couple things that I went, eh? But that's okay. That's democracy. And that's what I love. Without further ado, let's bring in Evan, and we've got so much to talk about. Evan, buddy, it's been 2 weeks. I feel like something's been missing in my life.
I know, it's a little bit weird. I do think it's appropriate, though, that we're our first year here. It's the 30th of December right now. We're going to get 51 episodes in because 51 is the most prime-looking number of all time. It's like it looks so much like a prime number. I got it wrong on my math test in 4th grade when we had to circle prime numbers, and it haunts me to this day. I think it's appropriate our first year would end with 51 episodes because it's like a taunt to me back to, it's secret pain I've held for 31 years. So I'm in favor of this one. I'm glad we're doing it.
I may have gotten that wrong. I don't know. I can't remember what I cheated off of the Korean kid in front of me.
It just doesn't 51 not look like, I know 5 and 1 adds up to 6, which is divisible by 3, but it doesn't look like a prime number or like a non-prime. It looks like a prime number. Anyway.
Come for the sports, stay for the math.
Yeah. By the way, I do have to say one thing before we start. And let me just say this. Hey, I just wanted to own up to the fact that over the years on Twitter, I've definitely tweeted some unartful and insensitive things. Sometimes they worked as jokes in my head. I was dismayed to see how they read on screen. In the past, I'd usually leave up bad tweets so they could be dunked on. At least that way they could lead to smart replies and even advocacy. Deleting them felt like whitewashing mistake. But in that practice may have given the impression I stand every failed joke I've ever posted on here. Not at all. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I was just reading Ken Jennings. I figured if I said it, I could be the host of Jeopardy too. So.
Nice.
He's apologizing for the tweets he doesn't need to apologize for, which is the funny thing. So
in 2020, I'd say there's nothing more 2020 than that. I think one of our early, little bit of a callback, I have modified my Twitter behavior back to the whole Hana Kimura death, who felt the Japanese pro wrestler who got bullied on Twitter. I'm pretty much nice to everyone, except for Justin Trudeau. But come election time, I'll explain my distaste and strong dislike for this person. But this isn't the time.
Understood. So... Anyway, I was just trying to figure out how I can get back on Jeopardy after my third place finish almost a decade ago. So I figured if I just, say what he says, it's a chance I'll get brought in as interim host, right? Right?
But why not? Why not? You've proven yourself.
Exactly.
You've proven yourself able to rein in the buck, and that's not easy.
That's true. Yeah. So. Anyway, so it's been 2 weeks. Not much happened in 2 weeks, right?
Oh, God.
Nothing.
2020
just like Oh my God. I'm just worried that we're going to get to New Year's and it's going to be like Russian Doll and we're going to wake up and it's going to be January 2020 again. Like, we're all just going to wake up again. Have you seen Russian Doll, by the way?
Yes, I have. I like it. Yeah, I do. Well, Natasha Lyonne's one of my sneaky favorite actresses. And when I say sneaky, just like one of those ones that you don't sort of like, when you come up with your favorite actress list, you don't think of her until she's in something.
Mm-hmm. Her voice is like there's a line in the song by Jen Wigmore, making my own road out of gravel and some wine. Her voice is gravel and wine combined. There's something about Natasha Lyonne's voice. And they're making a season 2. I don't know how they make a season 2 of that show.
I don't know.
It kind of felt like a one-off. But whatever. So, but that doesn't matter. What are we talking about? Where are we starting?
Oh, God.
That's a good question.
Well, so we've got the Fictitious Halls, which you don't know, because I actually saved that.
I have not seen.
Yeah, because I always save that so that you're a bit surprised. Actually, one thing I don't know that you know, I never actually, until I look at who's going to be advancing to the next round, I don't monitor it. So it's always a surprise.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it's always a surprise to me when I send it off to Ted, my webmaster, as to who it's going to be. So just a couple days ago, I looked to see where we were at. So I'm very happy and slightly surprised on one, and I have to blame you, America, because there's one that's very strange. I never thought you'd vote for it, but you did, and that's okay.
Is it the Soggy Bottom Boys?
I won't tell you yet.
I guess I'll have to wait and find out.
We'll have to wait and find out.
One thing we did do while we were gone, and I think we should just mention in passing, because I don't think we're going to do a whole show on it.
No, not this time.
We had a second meeting of our mock football Hall of Fame group, which had some interesting results I know you put up online.
Yes.
So,
that
was cool. That whole process shows you how hard the whole thing actually is. It's amazing.
It's very it's certainly difficult. I'm really proud of the group that we were able to put together. I'm going to be even more proud when we sort of expand that in the future.
Right.
And
this was a first one, so we were just trying this with whoever would actually participate. We got some great people. I say we. You got some great people to participate. I'm just happy to be in the group.
Well, it's a group effort, but I do appreciate that. Without you, sort of in your zooming ability.
Yeah, that's my one life skill that I have developed. I've gotten my 10,000 hours on Zoom, being in the position I am. And having to basically be on it all day. So I'm used to trying to moderate and everything like that. So, no, but it was great. And I know we're not going to talk about it today. People can read about it online. But whenever they're going to announce the finalists on my birthday, actually, on Tuesday next week, I will be 42. So I will apparently, according to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, know all the answers to the universe. I think that's what the 42nd birthday does. But yeah. Did you never read Hitchhiker's Guide?
No, but kind of. Yeah, but I don't remember anything. But the bar I used to go to in Ottawa was called Zaphod Beeblebrox.
Okay. The moral of the story on that one is they put in a question, essentially, what is the meaning of life into a computer? And the computer thinks about it for a million years, and it spits out an answer, and the answer is 42. But a million years later, they have no idea what the original question was. So anyway, no, but I think we're going to be whenever they're going to be announcing that on my birthday coming up. I'm sure we'll talk about them. But between then and the Super Bowl, we're going to be having our group do our the finals thing, and we're actually going to live broadcast it.
Well, we're going to record it. I don't think we're going to put it live, but yeah.
Okay.
Well, maybe we are. We can figure that out.
Let's rewind.
Yeah.
We're going to record it and put it up on the internet for everyone to see.
Yes. Yeah, so then that way everyone can sort of say, what the hell are you talking? Or maybe we could put it live at one point, and then everyone can say live while we're... how stupid we are. Which, whatever.
It doesn't matter who we choose. We're still stupid. People are like, Peyton Manning, that guy was a bum.
Yeah.
So,
take away that 5 head and he's nothing.
It's funny how after we stopped playing football, it went down to a normal size head.
No. Those nationwide commercials.
His wife's HGH usage had nothing to do with that.
No. Yeah, exactly. You think his forehead's big? Let's look at his wife. Oh dear. But that sort of segues into, because you and I said, because we did prep a little bit this time, because there's just so many legends. Weird. Yeah, I know. So many legends who passed away. So we thought we'd just sort of rather than do the death roll, we'll just talk about a couple people who passed away, then sort of have a bit of fun with the fictitious halls. And somebody, if you and I would have started talking about 6-7 years ago and started this process, Kevin Greene, who passed away 2 years ago, would have been one of the hot debated people for sure. Wouldn't you agree?
No, I absolutely agree. He's kind of in many ways like Frank Gore. Frank Gore's third on the all-time rush list. Kevin Greene's third on the all-time sack list. Both of them played for tons of teams. Well, Gore's going to set a record, I think, for playing for the most games. But, I mean, Kevin Greene was never – he played for the Rams for 7 years and 3 with the Steelers, 1 with the Panthers, another with the Niners, 2 more back with the Panthers, and ended up as a coach with Green Bay and the Jets. But he was one of those guys who was very much like – was he really that great, or was he just a compiler of stats? Now, part of the thing is, if you're third in sacks, and I understand sacks have only been kept as the official stats since 1982?
Right, yeah,
something along those lines. So we're never going to know how Mean Joe Greene, how many sacks the man really had, right? But still, if you're third over the last, that was 38 years ago. That's still pretty darn impressive. But there was a ton of debate when he was up.
Yeah, in terms of pass rushing, he was one of the best of what he did in the last 40 years. God, I feel like sort of dumping on him now doesn't seem so inappropriate. I always felt a bit that he was kind of built up kind of by the media, this charismatic white guy with the flowing blonde hair.
Not unlike one of our semifinalists that they have out there now with Jared Allen.
Yeah, right. Just different hair color. But yeah, exactly. And I'm sure that's sort of going to come up in our future conversation. Nevertheless, dying at age 58. Did we ever find out why?
Hold on, let me double check. I never actually saw that originally.
Because when I did the quick I was supposed to say autopsy. What the hell? Obituary. I've been watching way too much SVU. I clearly did not do the autopsy on Kevin Greene. But when I did the obituary, I remember just that nothing was known, but 58. Holy shit. We joked about Peyton and HGH, but
nothing was. It still says nothing was known. Sorry, I interrupted you there. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say we were just joking about Peyton and HGH, but not to be accusatory, but probably. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he's the second Hall of Famer to die at 58 this year. I don't know if you remember Chris Dolman way back in one of our first shows, which was 58 when he passed.
Yeah.
But he passed of glioblastoma, which is a type of cancer. So, yeah, I still don't see anything up here for how Kevin Greene passed. But, I mean, still, regardless of whether or not it's debatable or he would cause a lot of debate, he got into the Hall of Fame on his 5th time as a finalist. He's been, he's one of the best pass rushers of the 90s easily, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
And one hell of a football player, regardless of whether you think he should be in or not. I'm someone who thought he should have been in. It's sad for someone who seemed to love life as much as he did not to be here anymore, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
At such a young age.
And actually, the third former pro wrestler that we'll talk about, because he wrestled in World Championship Wrestling.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, teamed up in one match with Roddy Piper and Ric Flair. All due respect to Ric Flair, I would have thought that Ric Flair would have been the first of those three to die, and he's the only one alive.
Kind of crazy. Yeah, it's weird. There are certain people you're like Tom Petty's dead, but Keith Richards is still alive.
Mm-hmm.
But like other folks, it's so random. Life in the end of it is random, man. It just is.
Well, that's honestly why. I'm segueing off the deep end here, but what else is new? It's why I had this neighbor back in Alberta, and like they worked out nonstop. This couple. And, and I'm always sitting out the back drinking beer because it's this open area. And so this, and she said to me, like, maybe you should sort of like take it easy. I said, like, really? Like, you've had like, since you've moved here, and it was like June, you've been off sick 15 days. Your husband threw out his back 3 times. I'm a physical wreck, and I've never missed a day of work.
Yeah, well, and for any members of the Bayesian government listening, he actually is not technically working now, so he's not overstaying his visa.
That's true. But back then, I was legitimately employed in the traditional sense.
Right. Yeah. So, but anyway, going back to Kevin Greene. I mean, he was one of the 3 starters on the All-90s defense at linebacker with Junior Seau and Derek Thomas.
Fuck.
So, I mean, those are your the three defenders. Interestingly, none of the backup guys have been on there. Hardy Nickerson, Cornelius Bennett, and Levon Kirkland, although Bennett is a semifinalist this year. But yeah, I mean, if you're the third linebacker in that group, it's kind of hard not to put you up and in and over. So anyway, a sad farewell, much too young to Kevin Greene.
Yeah, and then another major Hall of Famer from your neck of the woods, Casey Jones.
Yeah, I mean,
rough time for Celtics.
Casey Jones. Huh? Yeah, I mean, it's been rough. So Heinsohn and Jones's number. Heinsohn's 15 is right above Jones's 25 on the banners up in Boston. Yeah, there's also a really famous picture in Boston. It's after winning one of the titles. It's Russell sitting next to Auerbach and Heinsohn, Casey Jones, and Jim Luskatoff bending over the top of one of the most famous Boston Celtics pictures. And, I mean, Auerbach's been gone for a while now. But all those guys, the other 3 guys, have all died in the last year. And Russell's the only guy left. But I mean, Casey Jones, 88 years old, member of 12 championship teams. He's a 2-time NCAA champion. He was on those teams with Bill Russell at the University of San Francisco. Had his number retired by the Dons out there. He won 8 championships with the Celtics, 2 as a player, 2 as an assistant coach, and then 2 as the head coach for the Celtics. So, I mean, another guy who he was only there for 12 championships as opposed to the 18 that Heinsohn was there. But still easily one of the most important players in the history of the Celtics. And just an all-around, like, good guy. Probably underrated as a coach. But just an all-around great player and another beloved member of the Celtics who unfortunately passed away on Christmas.
Olympic gold medalist, too, I think.
I believe he is. I believe that's correct.
Yeah, 1960? I think so.
Yep, 56.
Oh, 56, sorry. But I mean, like, just, my God, the trophy case that this man had just had to be crazy.
Yeah, he like, in the U.S. Capitol, every state is allowed to put in 2 statues of people that they have, and they had them all in one room, the statuary hall, but there got to be too many states and the floor was in danger of collapsing. I kind of feel like that's how his trophy room was. Like any more trophies in the room might have collapsed. So.
Died at 88. So, long. 80. It was 88, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was 88 years old when he
Okay.
passed.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at that 1956 team for the U.S. It had two guys named Casey Jones and Bill Russell, which probably helped.
I'm sure it definitely did not hurt. Wow.
Yeah. They beat the Philippines, Japan, and Thailand in the first round, and then.
Oh wow! Yeah, that must have been hard.
In the playoffs, I forget where they are here. In the playoffs, they beat Uruguay in the first round, 101-38 in the semifinals, and then beat the Soviet Union 89-55. Uruguay, who lost 101-38, went on to beat France to win the bronze. So.
I always thought that Uruguay, considering their disadvantage to Paraguay, because there was a pair of Guays as opposed to just the one, they've done so well. Geography joke, yes.
Yeah, it was good.
Thank you.
The problem Paraguay has is if you want to play for Paraguay in any sport, you have to speak Quechua. The language of the Incas, because that's the language they use on the field. It's basically a code so that no other team can understand them.
Well, it's done wonders for them in the World Cup, hasn't it?
And Paraguay doesn't have as many people as you might think, so they haven't done so terribly for a country their size, particularly one who fought a war. I tell you, South American history is one of my favorite things. There used to be a part of South America that nobody claimed. Right? It was just like dense forest. Nobody lived there except native folks that didn't claim it. Until Exxon came around and said, we think there's oil there. And so Bolivia and Paraguay fought a war over the land, which Paraguay won, only to find out that there was no oil there, which led to a civil war and the overthrowing of the government. And by the time this whole thing was done, like 6 or 7 years later, 1/3 of the adult male population of Paraguay had died.
Over this war?
Over the war and the revolution. Yeah. 1/3 of the adult male population, like 7 years.
Somewhere there's a far left winger shaking their head saying, yeah, I knew it.
Who would have thought Exxon would have caused a war? Yeah.
Damn it. I love that. I love learning this stuff. All right, well, I guess
South American history is ridiculous, but nobody ever learns it. So
I gotta say, Evan, after learning this stuff, I want to learn more shit. This is fascinating.
You should just go read about the War of the Pacific, the La Guerra de la Pacifica between Peru, Chile, and Bolivia.
What's it called? The War of Pacifica?
Of the Pacific. Yeah, the War of the Pacific. Essentially, Bolivia and Peru. I may have talked about this show before, but Bolivia and Peru decided Chile was going to attack them. And so they attacked Chile before they could, because Chile had all their forces up at the border, mainly because the rest of their border is defended by the Andes Mountains. So there's no point in having anyone there. And so the other two attacked him first, and Chile just kicked their butts. And they ended up, Bolivia at that point had access to the sea. And they kicked Bolivia's butt so badly they had one city left, and the king of Bolivia at the time traded their at last access to the sea for 6 white horses in the treaty to end the war. So Bolivia's been landlocked ever since because the king of Bolivia wanted 6 white horses.
That almost sounds like something Bob Dylan would sing about.
It does sound like something. Oh, yeah. And while this is going on, by the way, Argentina, on the other side of the Andes, Chile claimed the whole southern part of South America. While they're fighting the war, Argentina's like, oh, well, in that case, we'll take it. And just took over the southern part of South America because Chile couldn't get there. And all the natives who lived there, they literally forced down to Tierra del Fuego, and like lemmings, they forced them to jump off the end of the continent and into the ocean and cleared out. That's why Argentina is so white and has no natives, because people used to live there. They essentially ethnically cleansed. all of the natives out and basically forced them to jump off the bomb.
Jesus Christ. Well, and on that note...
And later... And later, they took all the Nazis.
Oh, gee, wow. Wow.
And I love that country. I used to live there, and I love that country. But they got some crappy history, too. So,
you know what? At the end of the day, what country doesn't?
I don't know. Do you think Liechtenstein's ever really done anything wrong? San Marino?
You know what? I'm sure there is. In their own little...
I'm sure.
In their own sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? In their own way that sort of is representative of their population. Yeah, I mean, look, I live in an awesome country right now whose stance on LGBT is disgusting to me, even though they've got an obviously lesbian prime minister.
Yeah. Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah, every country's done something wrong, including Hungary, by the way, apparently, because
she struck?
Mistress struck again.
What'd she do?
She did. She unfortunately took Kasaba Ali. I don't know how to pronounce that because I'm not Hungarian. And Hungarian sounds like a Star Wars language, let's be honest. So it's CSABA.
No, that's Fred. Saba. That's Fred.
Oh, that's Fred. Okay. Fred Ali. No, Kasaba Ali, who swam for Hungary in the 1964 Summer Olympics in 2 events, passed away at the age of 74. So she took a week off, but with the extra week, we gave her time to catch up. So.
Jesus. You know, I should ask Vinny, our resident young anime person. He could probably commission someone to draw the Beige Mistress.
Probably. Yeah, I would say that's probably true. So, anyway, going back, though, should we briefly mention that? I know we're not going to talk about it a ton, but the Basketball Hall of Fame came up with their preliminary nominees.
Yeah, it's there's just so many. I mean, like, I think rather than go through them all...
There were like 200 of them, right?
Oh, my God. It's... it's great and it sucks at the same time because there's no way that anyone can really give a shit. You can't. When you're looking at all these different categories, and again, I didn't even count them all, but it's probably about 200 nominees. It's not even worth it to go through them all. So much so that they don't even go through them all. They just list the names. There's no bios. There's nothing. So, I think we can both agree that there's 2 big names who are eligible for the first time. Paul Pierce, who probably will headline that class, which will be a separate class. It is worth noting that Kobe's class with Kobe, Tim Duncan, and Kevin Garnett. Yeah, they're not going to be combining classes like baseball will do. They're going to do 2 separate classes. So I can't see how Pierce isn't the headliner unless they want to put Chris Bosh over him.
It's going to be Pierce and Bosh.
Yeah.
Like, both those guys will be in and somebody else. And that was interesting. One of the other first-time nominees, clearly not his first-time eligible, first-time nominee, Michael Cooper. I was surprised he had never been nominated based on the standards of the basketball hall. But, I think it's pretty much Pierce, Bosh, and maybe someone like Chauncey Billups or Chris Webber finds their way in as a third modern candidate.
Think Webber, I could be mistaken here. Webber to me, I've been championing Webber for a long, long time. Basketball Hall of Fame, for those not aware, it's encompassing all aspects of basketball. Your college, even your high school, everything. International. It's the whole body of work. Now, Chris Webber was... His work at University of Michigan was technically expunged. Like it didn't work. Like it didn't exist.
Yeah, and that's just stupid. I'm sorry.
But that's now over.
Mm-hmm.
So
no one remembers anything that Chris Webber did in college.
No, of course not.
I'm sure he doesn't see that every March.
Yeah, exactly. But does and again, this is the other thing that drives me up the flipping wall. I don't even know who the hell decides on this.
Yeah, that's also true.
The basketball.
That's one of the things we've talked about with all of our committees that we have meeting and everything like that. That we are trying to be as absolutely transparent as we possibly are, or as possibly can be.
Yeah. But
because that's one of the great mysteries of all of these things is that we just don't know why. Like the Rock Hall, we have no idea why anything happens in the Rock Hall, other than someone like little Stevie Van Zandt likes someone.
Ugh.
Like there's no other rhyme or reason. The basketball hall, we don't even know who's in charge of nominations.
Zero. No idea how many people they are, where they come up with, if the committees overlap, because there's the North American group, international group, pioneer group, early African American pioneer group, contributor group, just all sorts of shit that I should care more about, considering that this is what I do, and I don't. And that's a problem. Mm-hmm. If I don't care...
And you are the demographic who should care more than anybody else.
I would think so.
Yeah.
And it's tough for me to give a shit. So...
Yeah.
It's... I don't know. I will say this. Pierce, I think, is a lock. I think there's another first-year lock. And as much as people might think from listening to past shows that I hate women's basketball, I don't hate women's basketball. I hate it when the WNBA is sort of whining about their existence, how they're not as good as how they don't make as much money as the NBA, because it's pretty obvious why they don't. I want them to succeed. I really want them to succeed, but whatever. Lauren Jackson is a first ballot inductee in my eyes, and she's now on the ballot. Yeah,
agreed. Again, we've talked about how strange the standards are by the basketball hall. I don't think it matters what the standards are of the basketball hall. If you're going to have men and women in the same hall, Lauren Jackson meets every criteria of a first ballot Hall of Fame.
For sure. And she'll get in.
And another first-time nominee they had, not first ballot, though, Yolanda Griffiths is also somebody who should get some serious consideration.
And she very well might.
Yeah.
And that's the shitty thing that they do. The basketball has grown so much in the last 30 years, but the Basketball Hall of Fame has not. Mm-hmm. And it's their own damn fault.
Yeah.
Because there's no reason why that shouldn't grow with it. You and I have talked about how baseball hates itself. Yet the Baseball Hall of Fame is still the be-all and end-all of Sports Hall of Fames until something else might take its place. But we'll talk about that in a couple months.
Right. Yes, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Canton is right up there, too. The Hockey Hall is way far down. It's honestly baseball. It's honestly baseball, football, and rock. I think rock and roll that's the top three, and then everybody else.
Yeah, you're right. But I think you're right. Hockey Hall of Fame is they just sit back and they're modest, and because they don't have to be. I suppose I don't know why. If that makes any sense, maybe because were they the first? See, baseball was 36. Hockey was right up there.
Yeah, they're way up there if they weren't first.
Yeah, but there's just less hockey players than baseball players, so less of a thing to draw from. Which is again why and you and I have talked about that before. Why, when I thought about it, if any Sports Hall of Fame can sort of take a Lou year, it was the Hockey Hall of Fame. Now, if the Sedin twins die in a plane crash, aren't they going to feel stupid?
Yes. Fortunately, nobody can travel on planes. So, and I will say, I'm kind of looking forward to the way they set up the NHL season this year. Since the Canadian teams can't cross the border, I think it's kind of awesome. Except for the fact that the NBC schedule has the Detroit Red Wings, who are putrid, on for like three games just because they're original 16. But Like the fact that there's the Northeast. By the way, this is the first year in their history the Bruins Canadians will not be in the same division.
Oh wow!
So that's kind of
know
weird.
that.
Yeah.
Well,
first founding of the Bruins in 28.
See, I grew up in sort of the era of 21 teams, and my dad, who I think I've mentioned before, is not a sports guy, and so I started watching hockey like all Canadians do. He's like, "Why are you bothering watching until the playoffs?" Like, what do you mean? There's 21 teams, 16 make the playoffs. So you're going to waste 5 months to watch 5 teams get eliminated? What am I going to say? He's right.
Yeah, back then he was right. But, yeah, I love the fact, like, this division for the Bruins, like, Bruins, Sabres, Islanders, Rangers, Flyers, Capitals, Penguins.
Did you see who Washington just picked up today?
Oh, God, yeah, I know. It's crazy to me. The fact that Zdeno Chara, is still playing hockey. Because I think I've told you before, we're down to 3 players who are officially still playing in the professional sports who were playing in the 1990s. And they're all hockey players. The last 3 1990s standing, presuming that Bartolo Colon, who is playing professionally, but not in the majors, and Adam Vinatieri, who didn't play this year, but I'm not officially sure it's done. I think he's officially retired.
Not officially
presuming
yet,
those 2 are done, the only ones left are Chara, Joe Thornton, and Patrick Marleau. And those are the last 3 guys from the 90s. Chara's going to be 45 this year, which is old for a hockey player not named Gordie Howe.
Chara could keep playing and then sort of like equal his height if he makes it to 68.
Who do you think he is? Jaromir Jagr, also number 68?
Yeah, no, exactly. That also almost defies logic because when you're that big, there's just so much more of you to get hurt.
Yeah. It's going to be, again, not we're talking about present teams. So I'm interested to see what the Bruins do now because Chara had certainly fallen to our second line defender. Matt Grzelcyk has taken over as the first line with Charlie McAvoy. But, like, we have no other left-handed defenseman because Torrey Krug's gone, too. So I don't know what they're going to do. They need someone who can – they have a whole bunch of untested guys on the left side of that defense. That they need to figure out here.
I just realized
quickly.
Chara's been playing so long. So because when I was living in, I saw him play as a Senator, and which made me think holy shit! I saw him play hockey before I met my wife, and we've been together 17 years.
Yeah, I saw Chara when I was doing my single worst job I've ever done. I've had 30, not counting my current job. I guess is technically job 39. Even though I'm with the same company. But I've done 39 things in my life. The single worst job I've ever had was selling high-end cashmere sweaters at a Costco in Everett, Massachusetts. And Everett is like the most blue-collar town you could possibly imagine on the East Coast. And these sweaters were $400 a piece.
Sounds
at
so
a Costco.
Specific.
Yeah, at a Costco. And who walked into the Costco? Right, 2 days after he signed his second contract at the Bruins, was Zdeno Chara, and I'm presuming his wife. She looked like she was out of a Russian Lord of Bride catalog. That's how she was dressed. I'm presuming it was his wife. But even without skates, that dude was so big. It was just weird. Like, I'm at the Everett Costco, and Zdeno Chara walks in for some reason to Costco. And I'm like, you just signed a $7 million a year contract. Why are you at a Costco or at a Costco in Everett? It's very, very strange. So yeah, that was when I just met my wife, and I said, "Well, no, he must have just signed." I've been with my wife since 2006, so he must have just signed at that point.
How many sweaters did you sell him?
I sold 8 and 7 got returned. Sold 8 sweaters in 2 weeks and 7 got returned. Most people looked at me like I was crazy, and I agreed with them. But it was a temporary job. I needed something to do while I was waiting for something else. It was over the holidays, so yeah. It was my single worst job I've ever had. I hated every second of that job.
One day I'll talk about. Oh God, I've had a lot of jobs I hated. Thank God I do this. Well, maybe we segue into just a couple of happy things. So the Fictitious Hall, we've got. Let's go through the least sort of interesting one, the Fictitious Veteran. That's now going to be
for the athlete, right?
Yeah, for the Fictitious Athlete Hall of Fame.
Okay, well, so give us the nominees. I have a guess. I'm pretty sure this one is pretty easy as to who it was going to be. But go ahead and give us the finalists.
All right, so it's Harold Lamb.
Okay.
The Joe Pendleton and Joe Boyd.
Yeah, Joe Boyd from Damn Yankees, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Joe Boyd.
You're right. Joe Boyd is the newest member of the Fictitious Athlete Hall of Fame, played by Tab Hunter. And it's a pretty simple story that was great then and it's great now. Guy who hates the Yankees, super fan of the Washington Senators, which at the time existed, now the Minnesota Twins. So wanted to sort of like beat those damn Yankees, be a superstar, and he did. And he was. And it's a cute little story.
Nice.
So
I'm all for that. All right. So that's a good choice by the group.
Yes.
So
and again,
if you told me something beforehand, I didn't know.
What's that?
That you do not monitor I would not, if I had one of these, I would be monitoring all the time.
No, never.
How
Not at all.
everybody was doing it.
Well,
you don't monitor it at all.
No, because I have to go through the back end, and I'm always busy creating stuff. If I do that, then it would just be another thing that stops me from creating articles. But no, I don't look at any of this until I send it to Ted, my webmaster. Okay, here are winners, and then sometimes he'll correct me as to like, wait a minute, how shouldn't which has happened before. Like, what do you mean? Like, because sometimes I'll miss something. But yeah, I don't monitor it at all. And my vote, your vote, it's equal to one vote. You know, it's pure democracy. The only time I ever fudged shit, I didn't fudge anything. I was open about it. Rocky Balboa was the inaugural nominee. That's it.
Right. Yeah, and that's when he came up with it. That's easy enough. So.
Yeah. Only because I could not fathom putting something like this together and having Rocky not get in right away. Because if it didn't, I would have said, fuck this, and not continued. If you're serious, I would not have.
And this is your hall, goddammit, so I understand.
Yeah. Well, it's the only time I played God.
Fair enough.
With that. And I think I get a pass.
Yep, I agree.
So do we get to another death before we go into another Fictitious Hall?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I see what you're doing. Yeah. Do you want to...
How about Phil Neikro? Because the only reason I say that is I realized, and I was going back through the history of it, I actually saw Phil Neikro play when he was a Blue Jay. Mm-hmm. Which was only 3 games, right? So no, I was actually at a game.
Wow.
At Exhibition Stadium. So Phil Neikro passed away, but I guess before that, for those not aware, great knuckleball pitcher, Baseball Hall of Famer, entered 5th year of eligibility, I believe. 300 game club, ageless, except if you looked at him. Like,
agreed.
Holy
his arm was ageless, his hair was not.
Well, his face too. It's like I look back and it's sort of funny because I was thinking like, so he would have been playing at age 47. I'm 48 now, and I remember when I went to that game because I was talking to my dad and he doesn't remember what games because he hates baseball. All he did was he would do his baseball impression. And he would just stand there at the 7th inning stretch and grab his ball. So it's like, yeah, see, I'm stretching. Which was fun. Thanks, Dad. But he did. But anyway. So, back at Old Exhibition Stadium, in his final farewell, the Jays signed him briefly. And he started that day. And I'm looking at, and I knew who he was, because I just was collecting baseball cards up the wazoo, but so it was kind of cool seeing somebody who I knew was a legend and who I knew was this was pretty much it. I think if I remember correctly, he lost. He had to have lost because he never won a game with Toronto. I think he got shellacked in 4 innings or so. But then I looked at him again, and then I looked at it thinking, like, okay, so I'm 48 now. He would have been 47, and I thought, holy shit, he's old. Well, I'm older than him now. Mm-hmm. And then I looked back to see what he looked like. No, I was right. He was old. He went to the Lee, like, borrowing from what we just, here's another callback. He went to the Lee Marvin School of Aging. Like,
yeah, but I've always felt like all those people were constantly walking around in a cloud of cigarette smoke.
Probably.
Like, everywhere you went, it was cigarette smoke. And I honestly think the fact that we're not all walking around cigarette smoke is why we don't look as old as, like, previous generations did.
Well, Phil Neikro at age 47, and I saw a picture of him at 77, isn't much different.
Yeah, there isn't.
Just like I'm sure Greg Oden at 77 will look like Greg Oden at 17. I'm positive on that. So, yeah, just like a legend, though. I mean, like...
one of the amazing things I saw that came out was, so he was a rookie in 64 and has pitched, he started the Milwaukee Braves in 64, and after the Rays traded for him, the Jays traded for him and released him after 3 games. And so he ended up with the Atlanta Braves at the very last bit of his career. So in 64, he was teammates with Warren Spahn, who was a rookie in 1942.
Oh,
right?
My God.
So Spahn's last year of his career, he was on that team. Hall of Famer Warren Spahn was on the team with Neikro. Neikro's last game, he was on team with 1987 Atlanta Brave rookie Tom Glavine, whose last game was in 2008.
Who was on his team?
Yeah. So he was on the team with the guy who was a rookie in 42, who's a Hall of Famer, and the guy whose last game was in 2008 and is a Hall of Famer. And I mean, just think how long, what a span of time that is. It's absolutely crazy. It's 70, what is that? Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's 66 years between the three of them. And at least one of them was in baseball, which is amazing. So, I also love the quote they had about the late Ralph Kiner talking about trying to hit his knuckleball, because the other thing was Neikro threw a knuckleball from a sidewinding position. Like, he wasn't throwing over the top like Tim Wakefield. He threw from like Dan Quisenberry, not quite that far down. But, like, he threw sidearm knuckleballs. But Ralph Kiner called the special pitch like watching Mario Andretti park a car. Watching Neikro throw a knuckleball. I like that. I like the idea that watching someone that fast do something or something that great, just park a car as opposed to throw a fastball.
That's awesome.
I just like these things. So.
No, it just made me sort of like feel blessed when I sort of thought about, like, holy shit, I got to see Neikro pitch live. Like, that is, I know. Doesn't matter that it was as a Blue Jay. It's like when I finally saw Michael Jordan live, it was as a Wizard. Don't care. Still got to see it.
Right. True. That's true. I'm still disappointed. I went and saw one Giants game in Pac-Bell Park in 2008, and the game ended with Barry Bonds and the batters in the on-deck circle because we didn't start that day.
Oh, man.
It was very, very sad. By the way, another great quote that they had, Pete Rose. I get work for 3 weeks getting my swing down pat and still messed it up in one night, trying to hit that knuckleball. It's a miserable way to make a living. And Bob Buchner, Neikro struck out a hitter once, and I never touched the ball. It hit me in the shin guard, bounced out to Clete Boyer at third base, and he threw the runner out at first. It was a strikeout with a 2.53 assist.
Oh, awesome. I think what also amazed me when I was looking back, it took him 5 years to get in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah, well, we talked about the Baseball Hall of Fame. They're probably not electing anybody this year.
Oh, my God, it looks like, well, we'll see. We will see.
I don't know, although Helton and Nolan have been picking up quite a bit, which is great. So thank you, Mr. Tibbs.
Oh, I love that guy.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like they're electing anyone. And so when he got elected in 97, they elected nobody the year before in 96. So Schmidt was elected in 95, elected nobody in 96, and that 96 ballot has 6 Hall of Famers plus Joe Torre, who got elected as a manager.
Mm-hmm.
And then this 97 has the same 6 guys, with Neikro the only one getting in, Sutton just missing, and then Tony Perez, Ron Santo, Jim Rice, and Bruce Sutter rounding it out. The number 6 guy on that ballot, Steve Garvey, has never really gotten anywhere with the Hall, and Jim Cott was right below Sutter. So,
right. Since you bring up Garvey, and you're going to have to rein me back in again because I'm going to go on another tangent. I've come up with a fourth show. Okay. A fourth show idea. You know what the third show is, which hasn't come out yet. The fourth show is I shit on Cameo.
Okay.
And Steve Garvey's on Cameo. You know Cameo, right?
Of course I know Cameo. I've considered getting a couple for people.
Okay. So Steve Garvey's on that. So I lost myself in a night, like right before, like I go to bed, and then I'm just like, well, wife's asleep. It's like, all right, so bring the computer into bed, and it's just like, I'm going to go on Cameo, and I'm just looking at shit for 3 hours. Steve Garvey there, who now looks like Harry Carey. And I was just thinking, like, holy shit, like this is a show. They're just like Evan and I could just like rip on people doing Cameo for like Hall of Fame shit. Like if things get really, or maybe not a full fourth show, but you and I could just like, we got nothing. Okay, let's just look at Hall of Famers or people who should, and we'll just look at their cameos.
Here's my question for you: if I wanted to, could I order Steve Garvey and Steve Harvey for somebody?
I don't know if Steve Harvey's on that.
He'd probably say the wrong name anyway.
He might. Oh, well, good. Oh, well done. Well done.
Thank you. I was thinking that the whole time you've been talking about it. So
Tia Carrere's on that, and she looks fantastic, by the way.
Oh, of course she does.
Big shock that's one of my crushes, if you're a regular listener.
Yeah. So, yeah, of course she does.
Yes.
But anyway, all right, so should we go back, or do you want
let's go back.
Clear out a couple of smaller names right now, just while we've been thinking about it, and then we can go back into something more fun?
Sure. Yeah, do it.
All right, let's clear out a couple. So this week, last couple weeks, some of the folks who passed away, we lost Art Berglund, who was the American ice hockey coach and executive, inducted in the International Hockey Hall of Fame in 2008, mostly in charge of USA Hockey from 1996 on. He passed away at the age of 80 earlier last week, actually. We lost from the world of sports. Hold on a second here. Lloyd Phillips, member of the College Football Hall of Fame, Outland Trophy winner, 2-time All-American, played for the Chicago Bears for 3 years. Out of Arkansas, defensive end, passed away at the age of 75. Also was the athletic director at Louisiana Lafayette, Oklahoma State, and Clemson during his career. We lost. We're going to talk about some of these folks. So I want to make sure I'm not missing them. Frankie Randall passed away, who was a boxer, 58 and 18 in his career, but most of those losses came towards the end when he should not have been fighting anymore. But most importantly, he's the first person ever to knock out Julio Cesar Chavez, or ever beat Chavez back in 1994. So he was, of course, tested positive for drugs, for PEDs at one point. But he passed away at the age of 59. I didn't see a cause of death for him. I don't actually see a cause of death for him, but he passed away at the age of 59, which for a boxer is unfortunately sometimes the way things go.
Sadly, yes.
And that's it. And then the rest are in music. So let's move on from there. We'll come back to everybody else.
All right.
Later.
So the Fictitious Athlete Hall of Fame contributors. So I'm going to go from lowest to highest.
Okay.
So these are the people who did not get in.
Okay.
All right. So the lowest votes. So it was 15 who made it as contributors.
Yeah.
And again,
how many got in?
2.
Okay.
All right. Caretaker.
When you get to the final 5, let me guess. Just so when you get to the final 5, let me guess.
Sure. All right. So Caretaker, Chris Rock, finished last.
Okay. All right.
Longest yard.
Yep.
Terrence Mann, played by James Earl Jones, from Field of Dreams. Pepper Brooks, Dodgeball. It's a bold strategy, but let's see how it works out for him.
Yep. Okay.
Ken Reeves, White Shadow.
It's too bad he was that low. We'll get Ken Reeves in there one day. I hope so. I need a better campaign on this show.
Ray Kinsella, also Field of Dreams. So Kevin Costner.
Field of Dreams.
Yeah, so Kevin Costner failed to get in a second time. John Kreese.
Oh, really?
Karate Kid is not in, so he's next.
That's way lower than I expected. I expect he'd at least be top 5. Okay.
He is not. George Costanza.
Oh, good.
Wait, you hate Seinfeld too?
I don't hate Seinfeld. I just don't think. I think there are too many other better people. I have no trouble with George will get in at some point. I just think there are better people than him. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before I go on, I've learned that Evan and I will have a 2-hour discussion longer than the movie of Love Actually. I am pro. He is against.
I'm more against Love Actually than I am against Friends. So you know how much I hate Friends.
Okay, sounds good. And that'll be over the summer when we have nothing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
The world's greatest umpire, Frank Drebin, Naked Gun.
Ooh. Comes as a, 8, 7?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th.
8, okay.
All right, so 7th in voting, Lou Brown. Cleveland Browns, man. Cleveland Indians. Brown. I love him too. You should be in.
Oh, bad. Okay.
Coach of Southwest Louisiana, Coach Klein, Henry Winkler.
Oh, wow. I'm not surprised he didn't make it. I'm surprised it's that high. All right, so we're the final 5 now?
We're in the final 5. So 3 did not make it, 2 did.
So give it to me and let me try and guess.
Sure. Oh, so give you the final 5 and then you guess who got in from that?
Give me the final 5 because I don't have the list in front of me.
Okay. All right, so let's see. I'm going to try and do this in alphabetical order then. Jimmy Dugan from League of Their Own.
Okay, we've already had League of Their Own stuff in, so that's a pretty good choice. What else we got?
Jerry Maguire as Jerry Maguire. Patches O'Houlihan.
Okay. Who's next? I'm sorry.
Patches O'Houlihan from Dodgeball.
Okay, that's a pretty good choice.
Yep. One of the greatest actors in the world, Norman Dale.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Gene Hackman.
Hoosiers.
Yeah, Hoosiers. And the Gopher.
Greatest living actor right now.
And the Gopher from Caddyshack. So, yeah, okay. You've got Tom Hanks, Tom Cruise, Gene Hackman, Rip Torn, who's not quite in that category, and some guy's hand up a puppet.
All right, well, given those, I would vote for, and my guess is it's Norman Dale and Jimmy Dugan.
Dugan is in. He was the top vote getter. Norman Dale finished.
Not surprising.
Norman Dale finished 5th.
Wow. Wait, so does this make Hanks our first 2-timer? How many 2-timers do we have now?
Sandler's in twice. Bill Murray's in. No, Bill Murray's not in twice. He's the second one.
Who's the second one? So I have Patches, the Gopher, and who is the other one?
Patches, the Gopher, Jerry Maguire. But in terms of two-time nominees for or inductees for an actor, now it's Tom Hanks and I forgot.
Adam
Sandler. I just said that. God damn it.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so he's in twice. All right, so the Gopher, Jerry Maguire, and Patches of Houlihan. I'm going to, oh my God, it's probably something stupid like the Gopher, but I'll guess Jerry Maguire.
No. Third.
Is it the Gopher?
Yeah, it's the fucking Gopher. I'm inducting the Gopher.
Vote for him.
Yeah, So I remember. So right at the start, I before we went on air, I said like I'm super happy with everything picked, and there's one thing where I'm shaking my head. This is the shaking my head. I don't know what I didn't like. I remember when I put this together, thinking, no one's gonna vote for this. Well, they did. So congratulations to Tom Hanks and the Gopher. Who is now a member of the Fictitious Athlete Hall of Fame.
Nice. That's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy that. It's just the right amount of stupid for us.
Which proves I do not fix this.
No.
Because if for Gene Hackman's performance in this not to have gone through is, I think, criminal. But oh well. What are you gonna do?
All right. What are you gonna do? All right. So are we moving back to the death rattle for a second?
Yeah. You know what? I think maybe if we're gonna do stick with something stupid, /fun pro wrestling. We lost a couple of big ones.
We did.
And
everyone who listens to us knows that this is your ballywick, so I'm gonna let you talk about this.
Okay. Yeah. So two very prominent names. One from the past who I probably should have gotten a bigger name or like more stuff than it did, without going into too much detail. Where if we're going into sort of like great U.S. athletes, Danny Hodge is one of those guys. An incredible amateur wrestler, represented the United States in, I forgot what Olympics. I want to say 56.
It's the 56 Olympics.
All right, thank you. So. All right, so yeah, we won a silver, but when he was in college at Oklahoma, he never lost and he was never taken down. Never left his feet. Just that good. Three-time champion in his weight class, 177 pounds. Went to pro wrestling, mostly in the light heavyweight division, was a big star in the Midwest, staying in Oklahoma in that area. I sort of first became familiar with him because he was a hero of Jim Ross, who would later become the announcer for Monday Night Raw and currently is the announcer for All Elite Wrestling, which we'll tie in a bit later. And just sort of like watched a lot of his old matches. He had two tendons in his hand, so he could still like scrunch an apple and juice it with his hand until he was in his early 80s.
I see a picture. You look at his Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
Picture of him crushing an apple with one hand at the Oklahoma House of Representatives in 2013 when he was 80 years old.
Yes. Like just insane what he's able to do and what was able to do. Just, I don't know if he was the greatest American amateur wrestler of all time, but he's in that conversation. He's in top 5, period.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what he passed away of. It didn't quite say. I think he got sick the last couple of years, so I don't know if it was dementia or anything like that. But like a real big loss for a sport that and I'm speaking more of amateur wrestling than pro wrestling in this stage. Because I was just actually talking about that because I went to Boxercise today and talking to somebody who is doing a lot of mixed martial arts down here, and so we were talking about like amateur wrestling and how that almost got taken out of the Olympics not that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And breakdancing is going to be in the Olympics. We might be talking about that a little bit. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't quite understand that, but yeah, so just a true legend, not so much in pro wrestling, but really in amateur wrestling, Danny Hodge. Then another one who's an active wrestler.
Well, I just want to say he's a member of the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame in class 2007, but he was also just elected to the International Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame. He's going to be the class of 2021 coming up here.
Mm-hmm.
So,
someone who's also on my list for those who should be considered for the WWE Hall of Fame. I think I had him at number 45. last time I checked.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So the other death is fairly shocking because he was my age, and I don't like that.
Yeah, Brodie Lee, who performed as Luke Harper. He must have wrestled against your friend Kofi Kingston many, many times.
Yeah, Kofi was really broken up about it. He had all sorts of posts about Brodie Lee. I mean, born Jonathan Huber, but was one of the under Luke Harper, one of the what was the name of that group? I can't remember.
The Wyatt family.
Yeah, but he was. WWE had a little bit of a unique earlier this year, where some of the folks whose storylines have been lackluster, for lack of a better word, decided to leave and start their own wrestling group, wrestling league, and he was one of the principal people on Monday.
Yeah, he
died at 41 of one season. Cool.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. Just because I don't watch pro wrestling like I used to, like frankly, because it sucks. Putting it bluntly, it's just not very entertaining. And if we're watching, I think no matter what it is that we're watching on television or movies, music, whatever it might be, why do you watch or listen to it? Because you want it, because it entertains you. And wrestling just doesn't much anymore. Brodie Lee, John Huber, was one of the guys who joined AEW partway through. He sought his release because he was just creatively stifled. Had an interesting little character, sort of a takeoff on the Vince McMahon, actually. Leader of a group called the Dark Order. They just did a tribute show to him tonight. So that one I'll be watching probably after we're done talking, see how that sort of went, where I know that his wife and kids were there. And I think, you don't, and again, I don't mean any disrespect here. He wasn't the biggest name, so you don't learn much about his personal life. What we did learn was, like, holy shit, everyone loved this guy. The outpouring for John Huber was, I don't want to say unlike anything I've ever seen, because I'm sure that's not the case, but it exceeded what I thought his name deserved, if that makes any sense. And then got picked up on CNN and Fox News on their websites, which I thought, like, holy crap, that's impressive. And I think a lot of that was just because of the outpouring of love from everyone who knew him. What a great guy. But at 41, oh my God.
I mean, I just saw that Xavier Woods, who's also a member of New Day, wore Brodie's name on an armband. They had an eight-man tag team match, I guess, 2 days ago. And Xavier Woods, with the armband, ended up winning it. Used Brodie Lee's finishing move to finish the match.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, there's a video of it I just saw. So, yeah, I mean, he was absolutely, from all accounts, beloved. And, I mean, 41 is just shocking, particularly since it doesn't seem like it was normal wrestling causes. Let's put it that way, with trying to be politically correct about it.
No. I
mean, he even hospitalized since October 20th. He's been hospitalized for 2 months with whatever this thing was.
Yeah, so, I don't even know. I mean, like, I was wondering, like, why the hell is he off TV? And I guess that's why. Apparently, what they did either a week ago or 2 weeks ago, that's AEW at their tapings. His kid came out and then pinned the champion, like Kenny Omega. Just sort of like a little tribute, I suppose. Which, I mean, I didn't know that happened until he passed. So I guess clearly they knew something bad, or that maybe they thought,
wanted him to see it ahead of time.
Yeah, I did see briefly before he went on air. So, like, they did the 10 bell salute, and his wife and kids were right there in the front, and it was my God. So his kids would be like, and I don't know exactly what age. I'm going to guess 8 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ, man. I mean, for the 2-year-old, I mean, they're not going to remember much, but for that 8-year-old,
yeah,
I don't even know what to say. I mean, it's just you just don't know. I mean, like, and we talk about people dying all the time, and like Phil Neikro, I feel bad, but I don't. At 88 years old, you lived one hell of a life. At 41, and you're sort of rejuvenated in a new, like your second life after feeling creatively stifled. I'm heartbroken.
Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, that was the same thing, not to go political, but there was one of the guys who just got elected to Congress from Louisiana, also 41.
Yeah, I just read that too.
Died of COVID earlier this week.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to politically say anything other than wear a mask. But, like, 41 is just, like, that guy had 2 little kids and everything else. It's just too young. You know what I mean? There's just too many people who are still depending on you and too much life to live at that point. I mean, I hope we all make it to as long as we all want to live, right? The old Abbott and Costello thing, may all of you live as long as you want, none of you want as long as you live.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that for everybody. But, like, 41, again, as a 41-year-old for another 6 days, it just, there's too much going on. There's too many people who are counting on. There's too much I need to see and experience, and I want to be there when my daughter maybe someday walks down the aisle, or at least, you know, graduations and getting into the deal. I'm looking forward to dealing with her teen angsty years. You know what I mean?
Or kicks a field goal for Vanderbilt.
Don't go on that tangent, please. All right, no, I know you have a quick tangent. Just go ahead and say your one thing, and we'll get back and off of it. Go ahead.
All right. Whoever you are in the AP who voted for Sarah Fuller for Female Athlete of the Year, fuck you. Return your vote. That's the best woman athlete in the year. That's it.
Yeah, it's not an anti-Sarah Fuller. It's anti-pandering.
No, but here's what... Oh, actually, I do want to sideways from that, because it did take away from the one who did win it, Naomi Osaka. So you have right-wing sports journalists saying, well, she only won it because she supports BLM. No, she won it because she was clearly the best female athlete. But because of some of this other stuff, you've opened up the door for people to say that Naomi Osaka didn't deserve to win this when she clearly did.
Yeah.
That I just want to say that. That's kind of what sort of ticks me off about all this other. Screw it, I'm done. I've already said all this shit. I don't want to say it anymore.
Yeah. Right. And again, this has nothing to do with the player. This has to do with the stupidity of it.
No, not like just the stupidity of the coverage that she got for something that has already happened and better on better teams. If relegation, like in English Premier League, happened in college football, Vanderbilt would be in the Sun Belt, and the Sun Belt teams would say, "All right, bring it on."
Right. Yes. Understood.
That's it. I'm done.
Anyway, okay, we're off of that. So, do you want to flip back at this point over to some
fictitious fun.
So, so let's go to So we had 3. Usually, you have 3. Do we have 2 or 3 getting in for the
3
actual athlete?
Yeah, 3.
Okay. So are you going to give me a countdown again?
Yep. Yeah. So we have 15. So finishing 15th, Peter LaFleur, dodgeball, Vince Vaughn.
Dodgeball had enough love to get finalists, but no more than that.
Yeah, we've never had any inductees. I imagine it's going to be Patches eventually as the first, but I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Jeff the Dude Lebowski, 14th.
Not really an athlete, so I understand that one. Although the dude does abide.
Yeah, it's one of those sort of fringe things because like you love the character and it qualifies technically.
But that's just your opinion, man.
Yeah. Well done. Billy Chappell, Kevin Costner.
Ooh, didn't make it there either. Okay.
Yeah, although I'm I think this is an underrated character, but that's just my opinion.
That's for the love of the game, correct?
For the love of the game, yes.
Yep.
From Cars, Lightning McQueen, finishing 12th.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. Bud the Dog, 11th.
Oh, okay. We had Bud the Dog and the Gopher in the same one.
Oh yeah, that's all I do. Kirk, you see, like little things. It's all about fictional things. So I mean, like, what am I? I can't whine about it.
Right. I'm much more okay with the Gopher getting in as a contributor than Bud getting in as an athlete at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not a big.
I'm sure eventually Bud will get in, but I'm hoping that's like 10 years from now. So.
I have to agree with you. It's not something I'm overly thrilled with inducting, but hey, it's up to you, America, Canada, everyone. Mm-hmm. It's worldwide. Big Earn, Ernie McCracken, Kingpin.
Oh, okay. I'm surprised Bill Murray doesn't get more love on that, but all right, go ahead.
Yep. The only female here, All the Way May, from A League of Their Own.
Madonna. We already got one League of Their Own, so it doesn't surprise me he didn't get a second.
Yeah.
So.
Caddyshack again does not get another inductee with Al Cervic.
He doesn't get no respect.
No respect. Wow. God, my notes are terrible. I wrote Ricky Nobby. I meant, obviously, Ricky Bobby. At number 7.
Yeah, okay. It's, you know what he would say about that.
Well,
you're not first, you're last.
Well, he was last. And former superstar at the Ohio State, Shane Falco.
Okay. So that number 6?
That's number 6. So we have 5 left.
Okay.
So I'll do this in alphabetical order. Adonis Creed.
Okay.
Did he join his father?
Okay.
Al Bundy.
Okay.
Johnny Lawrence, a super surprise who came out of nowhere.
Johnny Lawrence is it. I'll tell you that right now. I don't care who the other two are. Johnny Lawrence.
All right.
Just with the rebound that the Karate Kid and Cobra Kai and everything. I was surprised that John Kreese was that low when he came up last time. I think Johnny Lawrence has got to be in.
Okay. Homer Simpson, multi-sport athlete.
Okay.
And Bruce Lee.
Ooh.
3 of these are in.
Just because Bruce Lee has to be in. Well, am I right on
yes.
Johnny Lawrence?
Number 1, by far. Number 1 in the landslide.
Not shocked at all. Like, that show is so good. And we're in the Zabka renaissance, the Zabka songs right now. So I have no problem with that one. So my other ones are Al Bundy, Homer Simpson. The other two?
Adonis Creed and Lee.
Oh, man. That's tough. I want to say Adonis Creed and Lee, but I'm presuming if Homer got this far, he's probably in. So I'll say Adonis Creed and Homer.
Al Bundy and Homer.
Al Bundy's in.
Yeah, Al Bundy is in.
Wow. Okay. At least I don't have to worry about voting for him again. I've never been an Al Bundy supporter in this hall, but okay.
Yeah, Adonis was 4, Lee is 5th.
Okay.
So we officially recognize Johnny Lawrence, Al Bundy, and Homer Simpson into the class of 2020 for the Fictitious Athlete Hall of Fame. And keep in mind, Homer's going to be talked about again. He's also up for the Fictitious Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with the B Sharps.
Oh, with the B Sharps. Yeah,
will he become the first ever cross inductee? We'll get to that after these deaths.
Worst cliffhanger ever.
Comic book
funny. I was reading a book with my daughter, which is really good in case you're looking for a book to read with, and anyone who's listening looking for a book to read with your kids. It's the School for Good and Evil, but all their chapters are like we joke they were the worst game show ever. Like there's a chapter called choose your coffin.
Oh, dear God.
And it was just a running joke. I just kind of feel like you just choose your coffin to segue into the next set of things. So, anyway. All right. So, do we want to go into the world of music, or do we want to go into the world of a couple of celebrities who passed away?
Let's do. Let's just do them all. And we'll save the hammer for the Fic Rock.
Okay. So, in terms of music, people from music who passed away, we had Pele Olsing, the drummer from Roxette, passed away at the age of 60. I didn't see what he passed from, but yeah, he passed away.
Well, you know what he died of? It must have been love. Sorry,
but it's over now.
Yeah. Oh, dear God, going to hell.
Yes, we are. Did anyone listen to his heart? Sorry. So, no, he passed away at the age of 60 earlier this week. We also lost from Houdini, John Fletcher. Unfortunately, passed away at only the age of 56. I didn't actually see what he passed of either, but he passed away a couple days before Christmas at the age of 56. John Ecstasy Fletcher. Let me just see if I can find it out quickly here.
Freaks come out.
Yeah, I actually don't.
Freaks come out at night.
Yeah, I actually see what he passed of. We also lost Tony Rice, who's in the Bluegrass Hall of Fame. Had a solo career, a member of multiple bluegrass bands, passed away on Christmas. Apparently making his coffee Christmas morning, collapsed and died in his kitchen. So we don't know much about the Bluegrass Hall, but I just wanted to make sure we got hit there. We got some bigger names here. I know it's not technically music, but I want to bring up Shabba-Doo, passed away today, also known as Adolfo Gutierrez Quinones. Shabba-Doo, for those who don't know, is probably the greatest breakdancer of all time. You can argue he was one of the creators of breakdance, and definitely one of the greatest dancers of all time. He's known for his role as Ozone from Breakin' and Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo, among other things. But he also the choreographer for Lionel Richie, for Madonna, Luther Vandross. He did. He was the dancer for Chaka Khan's song "I Feel for You." He was in Xanadu. He was all over the place.
Oh, he's in Xanadu.
He unfortunately passed away at age 65.
Incidentally, when I went on my Cameo binge, you can actually request him. I guess not now.
Not now. But in Xanadu, he was...
I never saw that movie. That seems like a movie I should see. But then I hate musicals. But Andrea Tessman, because I'm going to throw out my other show, how the hell did this get to number one? I've gotten in shit from somebody when I said I hated musicals. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, musicals depend. I absolutely love musicals, but Cats is one of the worst things that humans have ever created. And I'm not talking about the movie. But anyway, Shabba-Doo passed away at 65. I found out because Ice-T actually did post, basically let the world know he passed away earlier today. Also passing away today, very sadly, Alto Reed, the saxophonist for the Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. The opening to
they said Turn the Page?
Yeah, Turn the Page. Just everything else. He played with the Silver Bullet Band for 42 years.
God damn.
He passed away of colon cancer, but he also worked with Foghat, Grand Funk Railroad, Little Feat, Otis Rush, Spencer Davis, the Blues Brothers, the Ventures, George Thorogood, Robin Gibb.
He was in the Blues Brothers?
So, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So he's, one of the greatest saxophone players in the history of rock. That happened. The announcer was like, I don't know, an hour before we came on, that Alter Reed had passed away, which is very, very sad. Seriously, like if you think saxophone and rock music, it's probably Alter Reed except for, if you talk E Street Band or Dave Matthews or some of those others, or Baker Street. But pretty much all the other players.
So he was the guy, he did Baker Street?
No, he did not do Baker Street.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm saying except for those, almost all the great sax things you can think of was Alter Reed. Also, Leslie West passed away a few days before Christmas. Vocalist, a founding member of Mountain. He's been addicted to. He's been recovering from addiction to like pretty much tons of hard drugs for a long time. It's kind of amazing that he made it to 75. That dude did heroin. He did cocaine. He did. I don't know. I'm sure he did marijuana, but I heard he did morphine for a while. He had all sorts of issues. He had diabetes, all sorts of things. But he made it to 75. But a hell of a guitar player, a great singer. Mountain's one of those bands that a lot of people love. I don't think they'll ever get into the Rock Hall, but they were a great hard rock band for a long, long time.
Absolutely. Sorry, I just want to interject here. I'm going again on a tangent. I've got ESPN on in the background, so just talking about sort of things that have that are really sort of interesting in terms of breaking barriers. Just as Becky Hammon acted as the Spurs head coach today.
Oh wow!
So I don't know the whole context as to why that is, but kudos to her. This is certainly not a pandering thing like I've sort of talked about before. I think this is awesome. She's been their Spurs head coach or assistant since 2014. So
yeah, so maybe the coach got thrown out, and is she the lead assistant?
I guess so. I don't know. I've had the Cotton Bowl on in the background, and it just ended with Oklahoma drubbing. I don't even remember who. It was that bad. Florida. Yeah. So it just sort of flashed on the screen. So I just thought, while we're talking about that, I think that's a pretty damn cool accomplishment.
Yeah, I just checked. It was because Popovich got ejected, and she's the lead assistant.
Okay, cool.
So he got ejected in the first half. So with 3:56 remaining in the second quarter.
All right, yeah, I just thought that was sort of a real cool thing. And just for those who think I'm a complete sexist, I'm not. I'm a disciple of logic. That's it. That's all.
You celebrated the accomplishments that deserve to be celebrated.
Yes, I do.
So.
Yes, I do. That's why I have a kick-ass wife.
Who will kick your ass if you don't shape up there?
You have no idea.
I've heard enough over the last decade here, my friend. And lastly, I want to bring up Chad Stewart from Chad and Jeremy.
Yeah,
passed away. Yeah,
underappreciated group.
They were one of the British invasion bands that has not been inducted as of yet.
Probably won't be.
But I'm sorry?
And they probably won't be, and that's actually okay. It's just that I think they should be remembered more than they are. I don't know that they should be in the Rock Hall, but I think they're more than a footnote.
Yeah. I think, honestly, at this point, once they got Donovan in, there aren't that many of the original British invasion bands left, maybe Herman's Hermits, because the Zombies are in too. So Zombies, I think, were kind of the last one. Herman's Hermits has an argument, but Chad and Jeremy are just a step below. So, but just had a whole bunch of hits that did really well in the easy listening charts, which doesn't necessarily help you with the Rock Hall. But they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 top 40 hits here in the United States.
That's a lot.
Yeah, on the U.S. Hot 100.
Yeah.
So, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 top 100 hits in Canada, or top 20 hits in Canada.
Well, we love our Chad and Jeremy.
Yeah.
More Jeremy than Chad, apparently. I don't know if that's true or not. I've heard that.
Okay.
So I guess we got a couple more deaths.
Jeremy is still alive. So
yes.
He's got that going.
So I guess, do we have a couple more? Like, there's two more that I know we have to look on before we sort of look.
Those are the last two. Speaking of Jeremy being the last surviving member of Chad and Jeremy, Tina Louise is now the last surviving castaway.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, everyone else is gone.
Wow.
Tina Louise is like 86.
So here's the question then, right? So let's be honest. Everyone of a certain age, I mean, this predates you and I, and you and I are old. I'm much older, as people will tell me. But I grew up on the Gilligan's Island reruns, and then but it was still pretty much the same question. So who would you rather, Ginger or Marianne? And for me, it's Team Marianne, and it's not even close.
Yeah, no, agreed.
Okay. And she just seemed like the sweetest lady, too. Dawn Wells.
In real life, not just her character.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, Dawn Wells. Because Tina Louise, and I'm not trying to be mean towards her, but she, well, I guess all of them, really. They all sort of knew, okay, this is our character, and you know what, so be it. Where Tina Louise never quite got that.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, that's fine. I mean, if you're going to be sort of typecasting a character, you don't know what's going to happen. You have no idea whether something's going to take off. But,
right.
Dawn Wells, she just would always sort of show up on this show or that show, just always looked fantastic. Just never seemed to age too much. I mean, granted, I haven't seen her in years, but still.
I mean, there's a picture of her on her page in 2015, and she just looked like an older version of herself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She doesn't look like she ever got anything done. She doesn't look like she had anything crazy drastic happen to her. She apparently fell in 2018 and was having some financial troubles recovering from that. But, she passed away from COVID.
She had financial trouble?
Yeah, apparently, when she fell, there's a GoFundMe page set up.
Oh, shit.
If she fell to help cover her medical care after she fell a couple years ago.
And it just goes to show you how how awful producers of television shows sort of took those people for granted. That they Gilligan's Island was on forever. How much money did she really make off royalties? Probably not that much.
Yeah, that's one of the things they say, that somewhere in the world at any given time, there's an episode of Gilligan's Island and an episode of Baywatch playing.
Well, but the Baywatch people...
Those are the two most watched shows around the world.
But the Baywatch people probably are getting their royalties, because just things have changed.
I agree with you on that. I'm just saying, that's how watched that show is everywhere. It's not just a U.S. show. It's well known all over the world. Because it's a simple premise. Although I do have to say, one of the dumbest things that exists are guest stars from Gilligan's Island. You're trapped on an island. If there's a guest star, there should be a way off.
Well, I think I've said this already. It was a Cheers episode where Rebecca's dad, who's in the Navy, shows up, and then they get sort of sucked into the Cheers gang, and they're watching Gilligan's Island, and he just says, if they would have shot Gilligan, they would have got off the island. It's just one of those shows you just can't think, put no logic into it, because once you do, I think even Happy Days took a shot at that, an actual Happy Days episode.
Is that where Fonzie was going when he jumped the shark? He's heading out to Gilligan's Island.
I don't know. A character came in and was. I don't know which one it was, and then Tom Bosley was just saying why can't you just let me enjoy this shit? He didn't say it like that, but
yeah, he had to be Sheriff Amos Tupper on Murder, She Wrote.
I never watched that show. I think
I watched every episode of that show with my parents. My wife actually for Christmas got me a Jessica Fletcher Funko doll as a joke.
That, I'm telling you, Angela Lansbury, Jessica Fletcher, she is the biggest serial killer everywhere, of all time. Because everywhere she goes, somebody dies.
I don't think she's a serial killer. So, I don't know if you remember, I've talked about the show before, Dead Like Me. I think she might just be a Grim Reaper here to take souls of people.
Oh,
both the Dead Like Me. Yeah, that makes sense. The other thing I learned from Murder, She Wrote is never win an award in your business. Because someone will hit you over the head with it.
Love it.
During an argument. That had to be the most common murder weapon, was some award that somebody won on Murder, She Wrote.
I've only ever seen one of those episodes, and it was the murderer turned out to be Father Mulcahy from MASH.
Yeah.
I just remember that because it was like, oh, like, okay, all right, William Christopher, you're trying to show that you're not just the father. Guess what? You still can't act, you fuck. Sorry.
Well, the first season of Murder, She Wrote is hilarious because they introduce you all the characters at the beginning, and then by the end of the first season, everyone's either dead or in jail, including the sheriff. So the sheriff murders his girlfriend because she started seeing someone else by like messing with the cord on her TV and like throwing it in the bathtub when she was there. So like they had to take her on the road because everybody in that town was dead or in jail at that point. So
and she's still alive.
Yeah, she did. I mean, you'd think she's the one who's solving all the mysteries. That's what you go after, right?
Holy crap.
Anyway,
so we go.
So we have one. We have one more person we should talk about before we get all to the fictitious rock hall, and that's a sort of interesting celebrity in Joe Clark.
My favorite. Not my favorite, but
yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say one of my favorite film. No, actually, one of my favorite scenes, because it's not one of my favorite films, is when Joe Clark in Lean on Me kicks Morgan Freeman, just says, "See all these people? They're never going to mount on anything." This is the worst paraphrase ever because I didn't prep, like always. So since you're not going to graduate anyway, you're all expelled.
Yeah.
That was the worst Morgan Freeman impression ever, by the way.
Narrator. It was. No, sorry. He passed away after a long illness at the age of 82. He's father of two Olympic athletes.
Oh.
Joetta Clark-Diggs and Hazel Clark. Who both, let's see, I don't actually remember what they did. I'll check that in a second. But yeah, Lean on Me is about him. He was the principal of Eastside High School in Patterson, New Jersey. Would walk around with a baseball bat. At one point, he got in trouble for locking the doors of the school so that people from the outside couldn't get in. He did marginally improve test scores, but more than anything, he was just trying to get control of what appeared to be a school out of control. So,
I wanted to sort of segue from that. I've had a script idea for my late friend Chavo Guerrero Sr.
Okay.
Not loosely based, but slightly inspired by Lean on Me and a film you kind of confused it with earlier, Stand and Deliver, before we went on air.
Yeah, I did confuse it with Stand and Deliver.
Yeah. So Chavo, my good friend, who hopefully his autobiography that I ghost wrote for him will come out next year. He's passed away like 3-4 years ago, but if it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. He was a teacher at a school in El Paso. And
okay.
Yeah, but he was a wrestling coach and also teaching history. This is right after he graduated from UTEP. And so he took over the wrestling team. And so what he did is the wrestling team stunk. So in the first day, he kicked off all the people, like all the seniors.
Wow.
Kicked them all off because you weren't doing anything anyway. It was like a very Lean on Me moment. And then the whole thing turns into Stand and Deliver because he's got all these poor Hispanic kids turns them all around, where they went from like winless, and then 3 years they won city.
Wow. And
in the final match he ever coached, this is true, and I think this would be a great movie. Chavo's team beat their rival, but his star student had to beat Chavo's own brother.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So when I was working on this autobiography, I said, like, dude, this is a fucking movie. This is a Disney, like, feel-good sports film.
Agreed.
And it's true. So, I mean, I've been playing around with the idea of, like, unfortunately, then Chavo Sr. passed away, but I still have, like, I still want to write this. I think this could be that, like, that's a winning thing. Like, that just, it's perfect.
Agreed. That's a really good story.
Yeah.
And now you just gave it away to the world, man.
Well, I guess
Too many people are going to listen to that.
Well, then you know what? I'm okay with that. Because living in Spitestown, Barbados, I don't think I was going to get that done anyway.
Fair enough. Just by the way, his daughter Hazel Clark competed in the 2000 Olympics. His daughter Joetta Clark Diggs competed in the 88, 92, 96, and 2000 Olympics.
Oh, and what?
And in track.
Nice.
So she was a long-distance runner. And his son, J.J. Clark, married Gerald Miles Clark, who has golds in Sydney and Atlanta in a 4x400 relay and a silver in Barcelona.
Oh, cool.
So he had a lot of Olympians in that family.
Damn.
Yeah. So anyway, let's get to our final thing of the night. Everyone's waited this long for the
Fictitious Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Who's in it? So there are 16 finalists. It would have been 15, but I screwed up.
Are there contributors as well in this one?
No, but there's going to be for next year.
Okay.
Yeah, there will be for next year. Ted's working on that right now. I've submitted a bunch of contributors for everyone to vote on for next year. Contributors are like being like, think of WKRP, Dr. Johnny Fever, shit like that. If Dr. Johnny is not one of the first members of that class, I'll be very disappointed. But it's up to you.
I think this is a chance for Tom Hanks to get in for a third time. The manager of the Oneaters.
He is, yes. Holy crap, I never thought of that. But yes.
Yeah, that's the first thing that comes to mind for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have 16, not 15, because I erroneously had to make an apology. If you go back a few episodes, I had apologized to the people of Riverdale. I omitted Josie and the Pussycats, who did get through in votes, and I screwed up. I miscounted. Ted, my webmaster, corrected me, and he's through. Or they're through as a finalist. So I just want to give my second mea culpa.
And I'm hoping they're through as a actual member of the hall, but we'll get to that.
We will get to that. So number 16.
They are my number one overall, just so you know. So go ahead, number 16.
Nick Rivers.
Oh, no one's skeet surfing? What the heck?
I don't know, man. I was surprised. It was a surprise that they got that far, to be honest.
I'll work on Nick Rivers going forward.
Well, and another surprise.
12 gauge and a surfboard too. Sorry.
It's all good. So another surprise at number 15. I'm shocked that it ever got this far. We'll see what happens, but I guess everyone wanted to do the Fonzie. Leather Tuscadero.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if it's going to be Leather Tuscadero or the Buckaroo Banzai, because they were surprising to be there as well. Yeah, Leather Tuscadero, I have no trouble finishing 15th. I have a problem with them beating out Nick Rivers. But
it's just a strange thing, but you just never know. Well, Don Music also did not get in, number 14. He'll never get in, never! Ow, shit, I actually hit myself with the remote control. That was harder than I thought it would be. Shit. I was trying to do something. No, sure. Well, God damn it. Anyway. Fuck. I hope it at least sounded good.
It did sound good.
Okay, good. Glad I didn't grab my beer bottle.
Yeah.
Dawn Music
here we got 13.
Yeah, Dawn Music is not in. Phoebe Buffay from Friends did not get in.
Okay. Smelly cat can only get you so far.
It only got you so far. It got her to 13th. At 12th, Buckaroo Banzai.
Okay, good. No offense to Buckaroo Banzai, but they're just better choices.
No argument here. I didn't vote for them. Number 11, Max Rebo Band from Return of the Jedi.
Man. Interesting.
Which I...
Okay, I wonder... Yeah, I wonder... We had the 2 Star Wars bands, so...
Yeah, which I think I said this last time. I'm just going to say it again. They died and nobody cared. They were on the Jabba's floating palace.
They knew what they were in for.
I suppose. Oh, Jesus Christ. My God. The Banana Splits at number 11. 11? Yeah.
Okay, their murderous rampage does not continue into the hall. I get it.
Yep. The Soggy Bottom Boys did not make it.
Okay, I was wondering when they were coming up. Interesting. Okay, I think they got a chance going forward.
I think they do too.
Finish it kind of clear.
Star Wars is shut out. Figure and Dan and the Modal Nose.
Oh, wow. That's a little surprising.
Yeah.
Okay.
One that I thought was going to sneak in, but did not. Ralph the Dog.
Oh, wow. Ralph is out?
Ralph is out.
Oh, no. I got to work on that because he's my number 1. So, well, actually, Josie's my number 1. Ralph's my number 2. Ralph's my number 1 Muppet in my heart, though. So.
Number 6, Sex Ba-Ba-Bomb. Ba-Bomb. Ba-Ba-Bomb-Bomb.
Okay, wait, does that mean Homer and the B-Sharps are the top 5?
That's right.
Oh, my goodness.
So the B-Sharps, the Archies...
Right, so the Archies, I was going to say, and Josie and the Pussycats.
Yep, Josie and the Pussycats, who had a late start because they were included after votes already began.
Okay.
The Ruddles. And
hey, your band got there.
My favorite got through the top 5, and Marvin Berry and the Starlighters.
Okay, interesting.
So what's 3?
Feature. Well, I'm going to put Josie and the Pussycats up there again.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so are they in?
Yes, they are.
All right, what number did they come in?
2.
Number 2, interesting. All right, so we have Marvin Berry and the Starlighters, the B-Sharps,
the Ruddles and the Archies.
The Ruddles and the Archies. Ooh. Does Homer get in again? I'm going to go with the love for Back to the Future. I'm saying Marvin Berry and the Starlighters.
Do you want to take your other choice too, or do you want to just go with that one right now?
Let's go with that one right now. And I have to think about the other.
Yeah, they are number 1. You're right.
Oh, wow. They're number 1. Wow. Okay. So I'm choosing between the Archies, the Ruddles, and
the B-Sharps.
The B-Sharps. All right. So Homer's already in on the other side. We have the power of the chairman. And again, I know your vote counts as 1 for everyone else, but you have people who vote who actually, you have your fans there, and they know that you're a project.
Yeah, exactly.
And we have the Archies, who are very similar to Josie and the Pussycats. I don't think Homer got in again. So I'm going to say they went with the chairman, because why not? If I'm going to be wrong, I want to at least be wrong on your side of things. So did the Ruddles get the 3rd spot?
Yes, they did.
Congratulations, my friend.
I'm very happy. Archies were 4th, B-Sharps were 5th.
Okay. Congratulations.
Yes, for this to me was a great choice by all of you. The Ruddles should have been in the one of the first 3 classes at least. I'm so happy they're in. Thank you all. But again, it just proves that what I want doesn't matter. It's what all of you want. That is democracy in action.
Nice. Well, congratulations on that. That's a good class. I'm in favor of that class.
Well, I think that's why I said to you, I think you were going to be happy overall with everyone who got in. I guess the biggest surprise to me, the Gopher, and I guess the second surprise is Homer Simpson.
Yeah, but I mean, we already had Bleeding Gums Murphy in, so if Bleeding Gums Murphy is in, you got to figure that Homer is going to get in.
Yeah, Bleeding Gums Murphy, that one I hate. I still hate it. I know it's my hall and whatnot, but shit, he was only in one goddamn episode.
Yeah,
and he was never popular. But hey, whatever. I mean that's how it goes.
That is how it goes. So, yeah, none of these are... I'd say Bleeding Gums Murphy is the worst member of this hall. And second is probably Wild Stallions. I don't think they ever actually even played anything.
Yeah, Bleeding Gums Murphy is the Harold Baines of this hall.
Yeah. But all three of these bands belong to it. So, I'm in favor of this group.
I mean, yeah, Marvin Berry helped create rock and roll. Josie and the Pussycats went to outer space. Like, Jesus Christ. And the Ruddles were the best band of all of England. I mean, Jimmy Dugan hit 500 home runs. The Gopher, I don't know.
He's all right. He's in the rock and he's been the contributor. I know, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kenny Loggins.
This is the perfect way to sort of end this, and this way I can test to see if my brother listened. Someone threw a throwback picture of my brother, and they actually said, like, holy shit, it's Kenny Loggins. He's got the dark beard and the dark hair. That's when he had hair. That's when you had hair, Hans. Sorry, just thought I'd throw that there. He's got all the money, I got the looks. And I don't have much looks, so that which sort of says everything you need there. So,
yeah. All right, man. Well, I'm gonna tell you, I'm calling the Archies as the favorite for this hall next year. I'm gonna see we're campaigning to get Ralph up there. The Fictitious Athlete. I mean, we got to figure out Norman Dale, who's is the biggest name left out there for me.
I want to push for Dean Youngblood, who was not a finalist this year.
I can understand Dean Youngblood. That's a good choice too. I push for Jesus Shuttlesworth. Probably.
That's another great one that just doesn't get a whole lot of love.
And we have to figure out a way to not include Leather Tuscadero on the list.
I don't get it. I mean, it's not even alphabetism. It's an L. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know either. But anyway, well, we went longer than just you making fun of your brother Hans. So Hans, I don't know him. So
I got lucky though, because like with the last name of Buchner, it's actually supposed to be Buchner, right? Like, what if I was named Franz?
Yeah. Franz?
Yeah. What if that happened?
Your parents are just bigger fans of Star Trek. Be thankful.
No. My dad doesn't give a shit about Star Trek. My dad drinks a lot. My brother likes Star Trek.
All right, fair enough. So.
It's funny how I hate it Kirk. But yeah, exactly. Anyway, next week. All right, so Evan, I think we'll close off together like we did last time. Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, Happy New Year, and everyone, and hopefully this isn't Russian doll and we wake up and it's 2020 again. Hopefully this is all going to end at some point and we can move on to a year that is not this year.
It's 2021. Let's play the Falcons in the fourth quarter of the entire year.
Exactly. 365 days of it not being 2020.
Absolutely.
So, I'll talk to you later, man.
All right, take care. Bye.